Hello, I'm Jon Murray in the Denver Post newsroom. I'm here with the Denver City Council District 2 candidates for On the Spot, called a source for everything politics. We're here today to talk about the runoff election that will happen on June 2nd. The two candidates you'll be meeting were the top two finishers in a five-way race for the open Southwest Denver Council seat on May 5th. They were vying to replace City Councilwoman Jeanne Faatz in the runoff on June 2nd. John Kidd led the field in the first round with 34% of the vote. He's an insurance consultant and runs an insurance agency. Kevin Flynn came in second with 22% of the vote. He is a public information project manager for the Regional Transportation District, and he was a longtime reporter for the Rocky Mountain News. So I want to start by asking the most basic question of both of you, just kind of about what sets you apart. So Mr. Flynn, I'll start with you. Why do you think you're best qualified for this job?
Well, in all my years working out in the community, in Southwest Denver and City Hall, I developed a lot of experience and a lot of expertise. Some people say that I know where the bodies are buried, but after 27 years, some of them might be a little, you don't want to dig them up necessarily. But it gave me a real passion for the community, and I'll tell you what, down in Southwest Denver, we need some of that passion. There's a feeling down in Southwest Denver that we've been ignored for basic city services. And I know that folks in other neighborhoods might feel that way as well, but I'll tell you what, in Southwest Denver, we've come across neighborhoods with no sidewalks. It looks like you're walking along a country road. And I think that's what we need to work on. Number one, basic city services, and that includes increased police presence and public safety.
Okay. And Mr. Kidd, why do you think you're better qualified here?
Thank you, John. Coming to Denver over about 22 years now, my wife and I came here looking for opportunity, and I feel like through the years, Denver and Colorado have been excellent to me and my family, giving us the opportunity to really excel in areas that, I come from a challenged childhood, if you want to call it that, from a very blue-collar background. With that, have come to Denver with the aspirations of making a good place for myself and my family. With that, I bring a great level of public service with that. I've served the community through several nonprofits, charities, and also work right now through my community, serving my community on my board of directors on the Homeowners Association. I'm also focused on, helping the least among us. And that, to me, I think is where it's all about, being a public servant and doing what you can to help the people where you can and when you can.
All right. Now, you both have said that public safety and long police response times are the top issue facing District 2. And part of that is because the district has kind of a strange, sprawling geography, and it's far from a lot of parts of the rest of the city. Yeah. It's a long-standing problem. Why hasn't this city fixed it, Mr. Kidd?
Well, it's a complex problem. Our district is geographically if you look at all the annexation, de-annexation through the years, it's turned into what I call a challenging area for the public service personnel. When they answer a call, they're not sure who to send or who should respond. With that, the commander in our district is doing excellent work right now, I feel. Just attended his last public meeting with the community. With that, the commander has reported some good improvements in the response times. With that, public safety to me is first and foremost our priority in our district, and we do need to work with our public safety officials to make sure that they have the resources they need to be able to respond on time, have the cadets in the program to help them with the staffing levels they need to be at to be efficient at responding.
Mr. Flynn?
I think geography, first and foremost, geography is the thing we can't do anything about. I've talked to officers who've had to go through the city of Littleton to answer calls down in the Grant Ranch or Marston neighborhood because they're out of position. We can't do anything about the geography, but we can do something about the staffing. We lost 230 police officers in the aftermath of the recession in 2008. Dennis Gallagher did an audit in 2014 that showed the response times in Police District 4, which is our district down in Southwest Denver, were the longest in the city, and they went from 12 minutes in 2008 to 16 minutes in 2013. That's come down a little bit because of what Commander Nagel's been able to do, but sometimes doing more with less, you turn out just doing less at the bottom line. What I would like to do now that we're recovering and we're getting some resources back into the budget, as we graduate these academy classes, I want more bodies, more new officers assigned to Police District 4 so that we can have home cars based in those southern areas to answer the calls efficiently that are not being answered in less than 16 minutes right now.
Well, let me ask you this. There's other parts of the city that have worse crime and gang violence than District 2's neighborhoods. How do you argue for more cops when they might be needed more in Northeast Denver right now?
Because there's no way that a person calls 911 and has to wait an average of 16 minutes. They don't have to wait that long right now in other police districts. We are the longest response time in the city, and that's a disgrace and it's unacceptable.
Mr. Kidd, how would you approach that priorities question as far as
Sure.
others
Yeah,
that need it more?
one of the commanders' meetings we had several months ago, he really showed us the whole structure of how they respond to calls, their hotspots, where they really focus their, the resources they need to be able to, bring the crime rate down. With that is the challenge of having vehicles south of Hamden Avenue. And that's one thing I'd like to propose to the commander is why don't we have a cop shop, or why don't we have an post within our district south of Hamden Avenue, which would help at least have one person in that area at all given times and rotating in and out. Again, it's about within our district, they call us the Blue Ghetto. We have a lot of firemen, policemen, all living when it used to be an in-county requirement. So fortunately, we do have a strong presence, but they're civilian presence, police and firemen. With that, I do think that helps to, within the community, people looking out for each other as neighbors do. And with that, but we still do need to look at having resources south of Hamden Avenue.
Okay. The need for economic development looks a lot different in District 2 than it does in, say, Central Denver, but there is still a need for it. You both noted the challenge of an upcoming Safeway store that's closing and the deteriorating old Target shopping center. What has the city not done that you think could draw more businesses and stores, Mr. Flynn?
What the city's not done is beyond its control, number one, I believe. First of all, the recession really gutted a lot of businesses. Consumer spending dropped, a lot of businesses closed. That's starting to come back. But the Target Village in particular has always been a tough area. Councilwoman Faatz and I have talked about this over the last couple of years. She has tried very hard to get property owners to come together, and we have to work with the property owners. They have to want to do something there. And we can help them by getting the Denver Urban Renewal Authority engaged, by looking at tax increment finance districts, which can be controversial, but we can fashion them in a way that works for everybody and attract, I believe, locally owned businesses, small businesses, entrepreneurs already in the district who want to open up their own shops, their own restaurants, bistros, live entertainment, things that draw pedestrians and pedestrian trafficking keeps them there. That could be a real plus for the city.
How come they're not doing it now?
They're not doing it now because the properties are so outdated. If you've seen the Target Village, it's about, that parcel alone is about 13 or 14 acres, I believe. And it's a sea of broken asphalt because the Target has been closed for many years. Just recently, a 99-cent store moved in there. That's not the highest and best use. We can work with the property owners to try to do something, but the property, the land itself needs to be redeveloped. That is a tough hurdle to surpass. And as Councilwoman Faatz said to me, the hardest part of any of these projects is getting all the property owners on board and assembling all of the parcels that you need. That's job number one. After that, it's not going to be an easy job after that, but it'll be easier than getting all the property owners to work together.
Mr. Kidd, what's the city not done that you think it should do?
Okay. Yeah, some of Kevin's answers I think are really spot on as far as being the true essence of our challenge here. I'm a small business owner. I understand economics. I understand the free market very well. With that, our district was in population growth between 2000 and 2010. We only saw about 3,400 people move into our district, whereas in District 11, the DIA, Green Valley Ranch area, they saw 10 times that. Almost 34,000 people. We're categorized right now in Blueprint Denver as an area of stability, meaning not much going on there other than people, raising their families, taking care of their yards, really keeping the neighborhoods looking nice. Economic activity, that's my expertise. I'm, a business professional. I understand that it takes chambers of commerce. It takes outside interests that understand that there has to be a demand there for them to invest in our community. So sometimes, as we saw in the 9th and Colorado area, you have to kickstart get that going. The tax increment financing, which was used there. Our councilwoman, she's not a proponent of TIFs, tax increment financing, but she did agree with that, understanding that no one was willing to step in there and pick up that development of that community, and it took that to incentivize the developers to come in and make that happen. I'd love to see more coffee shops, more ice cream parlors, the really mom and pop type shops. Unfortunately, we're always out seeking the big box retailers, and I really feel like from Eric Swan from the Denver Office of Economic Development, he met with us at the Harvey Park Improvement Association, and during that meeting pointed out to us, it does start with the smaller shops, getting the small business owners going, and the big guys, they'll see eventually that there's commerce here, and they'll come.
So it sounds like you mentioned Councilwoman Faatz and the 9th and Colorado development. Sounds like this is an instance where you think that public money would be a valuable investment?
Not necessarily public money, but an incentive to the developers that, through the sales tax benefit they receive and the tax increment financing, that would, I feel, prime the pump, so to speak, as far as getting them going, with the understanding that, at some point the incentives stop and you're, paying the city and county of Denver your full fair share of taxes.
All right. Now, Mr. Kidd, what do you see as the major differences in how, one big difference in how you and Mr. Flynn would approach being a council member?
Okay. Again, I congratulate Kevin for running. I think he's an excellent candidate. I couldn't have picked a more worthy opponent and challenging opponent. With that, I understand that Kevin and I do come from a couple of different sides of philosophical differences. Mine's more of a free market. Let's let the market really dictate what's going to happen in our district, but also understand that we're really very concerned for our community. Me personally, I feel like what I can bring to the council is my experience that I'm already doing now. I'm doing it now. I haven't written about it. It's about doing, and that's where I feel like with my professional background, my understanding of the community, and also serving as a board member, you kind of hear it from the grassroots level, being on a board of directors for a homeowners association, and that's one area I feel like Kevin's lacking in, that I feel that I bring to the table that he doesn't.
Now, Mr. Flynn, you've said that like when you're a reporter, you be a watchdog and you draw on your experience from that profession. That seems to have some similarities with what Mr. Kidd wants to do, which is to watch the budget closely, save money for the city. How would your approach differ from him?
Well, first of all, I was going to ask John for his vote after that excellent recommendation he gave to me. But nothing prepares you to be a budget watchdog more than being laid off at the age of 56 when your business closes, what happened to me with the Rocky Mountain News. And managing through almost 15 months of being unemployed and trying to keep the household together gives you a real appreciation for what our families are going through. But primarily, I think what sets us apart is that I'm purposely engaging in a very broad-based outreach to all of the district. I want to represent all corners of the district. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican or Green or Libertarian. I want to bring people together and get things done. And so I have some very good endorsements from Republicans, Democrats, and unaffiliateds who believe that based on my career, my public career of 27 years here, that I've shown a very tough but fair approach to trying to find the middle ground. I think it was John Kennedy who said, let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. And that's what my campaign is all about.
Now, I believe you are registered as a Democrat, correct?
Yes.
Have you got any pushback to that in that district? Because this is a traditional, fairly conservative district.
No, I have some very good Hugh Fowler. I am the first Democrat that former Senator Hugh Fowler has ever considered endorsing because of my work on transportation and transit issues, which are very near and dear to him. Amy Rathburn, a longtime aide to Bob Kreider, councilman down there who ran for State House a while back, and many other Republicans in the district have come on to my campaign.
All right. Well, thank you both for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
That ends today's On the Spot. You can follow the Denver Post's coverage of all Denver races at denverpost.com/politics and keep reading as our political reporters in the next couple weeks cover the runoff elections. In the meantime, you can also find the latest news about Colorado politics and policy at the Spot blog at blogs.denverpost.com/thespot. And thank you for joining us today for On the Spot. I'm Jon Murray in the Denver Post newsroom.